Entering service from 2253 onwards and named after ancient Earth historical figures, the Ptolemy-class tugs were a versatile and long-serving design which, unusually for a humble transport, proved well-liked by their crews and very useful for transport command. Through decades of service, the ships had a length of 222 meters, were 127 meters wide, and 66 meters tall, these figures being for the ship without the addition of a cargo pod. The vessels could achieve speeds as high as warp factor 7.5 when not carrying a pod, and would travel as high as warp factor 6 with one attached, carrying a nominal crew of 180, comparable to most destroyers of the period. The ships were armed with phasers only, allowing them to fend off most pirates or raiders they might encounter, but not making them well armed enough for service as part of a fleet. By the end of the 4 Years' War, Transport Command, one of the 3 branches within Starfleet, found itself lacking any purpose-designed cargo or transport vessels under its authority, with its fleet being made up mainly of old converted cruisers acquired second-hand from Tactical and Exploratory Command. Transport Command determined that with the war ending, it would be the perfect time to begin pressing for a tailor-made ship for its fleet. Using the government's shift to focus on peacetime tasks to its advantage, Transport Command received the go-ahead to begin development, with the support of Tactical Command, of its first totally new design in decades. The fact that Tactical Command supported the development of this new ship over its own projects, such as the Federation-class battleships, often catches people by surprise. But it makes sense when you consider that the movement of material, supplies, spare parts, and the support of the fleet in wartime, as well as peace, was the job of Transport Command. And so it benefited Tactical to ensure that their junior branch had all the ships that it needed to do its job. They would even help develop the ship by allowing Transport to use components from the Constitution and Saladin classes in their new design. First entering an extensive testing phase, 4 pre-production Ptolemy-class tugs were used to explore a number of different concepts Starfleet had developed during the 4 Years' War. The ship's testing methods of rapid deployment of bases, sensor platforms, subspace radio transmission, and also repair bases to border regions, this being in addition to their more ordinary shakedown and testing periods. Passing with flying colors, the class then entered full service in 2253, with many ships built in 3 major variants in a production run lasting until 2278. In total, 27 vessels were built by Starfleet, and they would serve until the first decades of the 24th century. Although the ships had been developed to serve in both peace and war, it would be in peace that the ships would spend the majority of their careers, the period in which they served being a time when the Federation was largely unchallenged and unbothered by most of its neighbors. Most of the ships would be used in roles such as colonial support and establishment, cargo and personnel transport, humanitarian relief, infrastructure support and construction duties, and other assorted, less than enthralling tasks. However, despite their uninteresting service lives, the ships were popular assignments for Starfleet, having spacious accommodation and regular leave time for crews assigned to them. Ptolemy-class ships served well, lasting long past the point of their designers intended their creation to serve, the vessels only being retired in the 2340s by newer and more advanced designs of Starfleet support ships. Serving for well over a century, the Ptolemy class was a well-designed and utilitarian design which allowed Starfleet to support its logistics line long past the point conventional systems would have failed, as well as helping in the establishment and support of hundreds of new Federation colonies as part of the settlement of the frontier. Although often forgotten, the ship's service cannot be ignored.